4 first. So
Yeah.
pull out the 4.
Even if it doesn't go in evenly. Like if it was 4x squared plus 7x, you'd have to have a fraction.
Which would be a bummeroo. Okay. Now, what do I do next? Come on, move. So I'm going to take b divided by 2. I'm going to square it. So I get 9/4, right?
Yes.
I'm adding 9/4 here, but am I really adding 9/4?
You're adding 36/4, which is 9.
9. So plus 9. Good. So then I have 4 times x plus, take the square root of that. It's this thing before it's squared. So 3/2 squared. Okay?
Yeah.
And this is what? That's -1, so plus 1. Are we good so far?
And it's always like if you have a fraction, it's always going to be the b over 2. That's always going to be that.
Yes.
They want you to put the 4 back
They
in?
want you to put the a back in. So you're not putting a 4 back in. You're taking the square root of that number and putting it in. Because eventually it'll be squared. So you take square root so it can get squared. So instead of a 4 going in, you're putting a 2 in. So what you get is 2x plus, what's 2 times this?
Wait, why are you saying this?
It wants you to have the a inside.
I know, but can you square?
You take the square root of it because if you were to undo what you did, you would be squaring, and so you want it to go back to where the 4 was.
Okay.
So if I multiply the 2 through, I have 2x and then 3, which is really nice. Squared plus 1. Yes.
What happens to the 2? Or it goes away. Because the 4 just comes at 2 that gets multiplied with the x and the 3
You
halves.
get 6/2.
Yeah.
Okay, so the 4 comes in as a 2 because it's the square root. So you do 2 times x, you get 2x, and then what's 2 times 3/2? Well, it's 6/2, which is 3.
Oh, you're
Distributing it, yeah. Okay, so that was the first part.
Wait, what was the question?
It says express that in terms of that. Okay, so that was 3 points. The next one says functions f and g are both defined for x is bigger than 0. It is given that f of x equals x squared plus 1. And f of g of x equals 4x squared plus 12x plus 10. And then it says find g of x. Okay? So do you agree for f of g of x to happen, I actually have to take something, stick it into this to make it become this, right?
Yes.
I got to take a g and stick it in here. So take what we just got for an answer, okay, and how similar is this answer to the actual f of x? It is something squared plus 1, right? Do you agree? What would I have stuck in there to make it f of g of x? So in other words, what is a g thing that I stuck in there? Well, it's this stuff right here. So g of x is 2x plus 3.
Oh.
So I took, okay, so what I gotta do is, this was the original. F of x was the original, x squared plus 1, right?
Uh-huh.
So tell me, how is this different than this? The only thing that's different is, instead of it being an x, it's 2x plus 3 squared plus 1, right?
Which is 4x squared plus 12x plus 10.
Yeah, so when I stick this in here and clean it all up, I get that. So the idea you recognize is, what did I insert? Well, I inserted this, okay? How do I know that? Because that's how it changes. So I just call that the g of x. Yes?
Or can't you just like divide g of x divided by x squared plus 1?
No, it's not a division problem. You didn't multiply to get it in. You actually plugged it in. You didn't divide, you didn't multiply it in.
You combined
You
it.
don't multiply those two things to get this. You actually insert one into the other. You compose it. Okay? But you would have to get it in this format to be able to recognize what changed from there to x squared
Or
plus 1.
the answer, you don't have to show it, you just literally say
G of x equals, right, it's a 1 point question.
Well, they made it kind of easy for you to just see. Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Very
Yeah.
easy. Now that you know it's a 1 point question, they try to make it light. And then the last thing says, find the inverse of f of g of x. So the only way you can find the inverse of this is if it looks like this,
Because we can solve easier.
so you can solve easier. So you're gonna make this equal to y, you're gonna interchange the x and the y, and then you're going to
Solve for y.
solve for y in terms of x, and you'd have your inverse. Just remember, you can't find an inverse when it looks like that, but you can find an inverse when it looks like that.
Because don't you have like multiple y's and you can't get it alone because there's
Right.
too much
Right,
going
you
on?
can't distribute, you can't factor the y out by base. You can't factor the y out.
Yeah.
Are we good? Sweet. Okay, I don't know, I think I've done everything I can. I don't know. What do you think? Yes?
When we're copying down our unit circle, should we put it on the test or on the reference sheet?
Well, there's my question. This unit circle it's a problem. It's the way they give you the test now, it's not on paper. Let me talk to Ms. Matthews and see if we can bring in a sheet of paper so you all can just instantly write it down on a piece of paper and we throw it away on the way out, maybe? I don't know.
And when do we start writing it? Just like if they're still handing out the test, just start writing.
You know what?
But it's not the test that you're doing though. You're just doing something just for.
Just to say, it's helping you for the test.
You guys have the test, right?
Which one?
These are all copies of real tests. So, let's see. I didn't copy the last page. The last page usually is like a blank page for work. So what I would do is, what I would probably do is when I go to take the test, I would open it after they say you can open it and just jot that down quickly. That's what I would do. Yeah.
Couldn't you do this test without writing down the unit circle? Because I mean that does take time away from.
It's up to you.
If you have it memorized, then yeah. But
I really feel like it's better. Let me see that. I feel like it's better for you to have the ability to do that.
Because some of the questions you might not need to use the unit circle for.
You don't think so? I don't know.
Is it the library?
Yeah. Here. Like this is an example of a past one. Here's the back, blank page. Wouldn't that be a perfect spot for it?
yeah,
I would think so.
we can write on those.
Yeah, these tests are fine to write on.
And any
Now,
of those actually
understand
is-
that this is not what's getting turned in at the end of the day, so if you do your work on here, you're out of luck.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, we're gonna give you a place to do your work. This will just be for your unit circle purpose. Yeah.
But the blank page is on the back side, so technically you don't have to open the booklet to get to that page. So if you just turn it over and just.
I don't know if I push the envelope. You're gonna have plenty of time. I believe you're gonna have plenty of time. I believe they've set up this test, so there's plenty of time. Sometimes people are done working on it, and I'm like looking. I think you should still be working, because
Maybe because they didn't know what to do, so they just
possibly. So it kind of breaks my heart.
they just guessed and said, whatever.
Yeah. So, all right. Anyhow, I gotta make a phone call real quick to Ms. Chanel.